Welcome to your 30-minute barre basics class. Today we're going to start with a 5-minute warm-up and we're going to move into some full body exercises that are going to go over the basic points of foundational alignment that will carry you through any barre class. It's going to be a great workout, so grab some water, grab a mat if you have one, and let's get started. Okay, welcome to barre basics. Before we dive into our warm-up today, we're going to cover just a few of the alignment points. So most important, when we are doing barre, alignment is key. You will notice that I'm not using any weights or any props today. So just going over the alignment points, any of the barre classes you're going to be doing here with me, that you're going to want to pay attention to these points of alignment. So number one, shoulders over hips, hips over heels. For the most part, when I'm talking about that, this is what I mean. Shoulders over hips, hips over heels. So straight line, up and down. Booty's not back, booty's not forward. Just want to stand nice and tall. That means the tailbone relaxes down, floor abdominals lift up, and then we're lifting up to the upper back and relaxing down to the rib cage. So you can think of that as a circle, and your rib cage moving forward. So ribs relax down in the front, upper back lifts, and then the circle rotates under in the pelvis. The tailbone relaxes down, the lower abs lift up. A couple points, you can just put those in your back brain, in your back pocket, and remember those. We're going to dive into rope here. Now bring those feet hip distance apart. We're going to start with some nice deep breaths. Breathe it in, inhale, and exhale, breathe it out. And do 5 more here. Deep breath in, exhale, breathe it out. Breathe it in, and as you exhale, begin to draw that belly in towards the spine. Breathe it in, exhale. 1 more here. Deep breath in. Exhale, draw the belly back, reach those arms wide, roll those shoulders down the back, lift those lower abs up. We start with our high knees. So right here, if you've done your high knees before, this might be old news to you. If you've never done these before, what we want to think about here is using the lower abdominals to lift up. So instead of thinking of using these big quad muscles to lift, imagine the pelvic floor lifting up, drawing the lower abs in towards the belly, and then drawing that belly button back, and then the leg moves as a result of the ab work. Keep those knees lifting. We're here for a few more. Lift those shoulders up, roll them down the back, or reach those fingertips wide. 8 more. 8, 7, keep breathing, deep breath in. Exhale and draw that belly back. We're adding little pulses with the arms, pulse it down. So we're reaching out with those fingertips nice and wide. You might start feeling a little bit warm here already. This is good. So checking in with the feet as well. We want to try to make sure that our ankles and our feet are underneath the knees, not squeezing out or kicking those heels up. So doing our best to align, knees above ankles. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to lift those palms up and little pulses up. Coordination on this one feels a little bit funny. Started to get warm in the front body here. I can feel it. Keep breathing for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push those palms down and reach them wide. Keep those knees lifting. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extra coordination. Lift those arms for 4 and press them wide for 4. Keep those knees high. 3, 2, and 1. And press it. 3, 2, and 1. Lift. Use that exhale to really draw the pelvic floor up and draw the belly button in. 4 more. Lift those arms. Press it wide. Lift for 4. Press. 3, 2, and 1. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Use those abs to squeeze that belly, shoulders wide. All right, we're going to step those feet flat underneath the hips. We're going to get into the back body. We're going to sit it low and squeeze to lift. Squeeze to lift. Sit low, squeeze. So really here, pressing the sit bones back. I'm going to turn sideways, you can see. So I'm not keeping shoulders above hips here. I am actually pressing the booty back. So sit bones, pressing to the wall behind me. And as I lift, the lift is coming from that squeeze underneath the booty. Into that extra little warm up here for the back body. Sit it, hold, and pause. So alignment here, we're still shoulders over hips. We've just tilted it forward. So part of alignment is still true to how we discussed it at the beginning. Roll those shoulders down the back. Sit a little bit lower. 8, 7. Now visualize those sit bones and squeeze them together in the back. Lower abs still lifted. Shoulders rolling down the back for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press it up. All right, hopefully you guys are feeling nice and toasty now. Front body's a little warm, back body's a little bit warm. We're just going to put our feet underneath. Start with a few head rolls. Deep breath. And switching sides. Just getting into the neck. Checking out any last little bits that need to be worked. We're going to roll the wrists. Roll the ankles. Give it another little wiggle you feel need to do before we get into our first series here. So without any weights today, we're still going to feel the burn, I promise. We're going to do some full body work here. So we're going to start in our wide second position. We're going to come down into our plie. Alignment here, make sure the tailbone is still relaxed down, lower abs are still lifted, so let's get right into it. Pressing the weight nice and heavy into the heels. We're going to reach those fingertips wide, so the arms are going to work here, but the legs are going to burn too. So we're going to do our pulse, press down, press down. So the legs seem to be stationary, but they are completely active and in motion. So keep pressing down with both your arms. We're scooping underneath with the glutes and lifting up with the fronts of those hips for 8, 7, 6, 5. So you have that circular motion, squeezing underneath and lifting in the front. Now from those palms up, we lift, lift, lift. Lots of chance here to lift up the lower abs, really draw that belly button in here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now press those palms back down. We're going to lower down to the knees and lift, to the knees and lift. So we're trying to tap our fingers to the fronts of those kneecaps. So it might seem impossible. I can actually only tap the tops of my knees. What we want to do is imagine that we can reach, so really getting that lengthened resistance through the arms. The more work you want here, the more you want it to burn. You just have to add that extra resistance in your own body. Our bar is about low weight and max reps. So we're lowering the resistance in our own body. So if you can visualize in the screen of your mind that we're pressing through something really heavy, really sticky, really difficult to get through. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to lower down and hold little pulses. So imagine you're squeezing from the back. Fingertips are reaching down past the length of the knees. And we can feel that work in the upper back. Lower belly's lifted. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lift those palms up. We reach them up together. Press wide. Up and press. Up and press. Up and press. The tendency here can be to get the weight a little bit into the toes. We'll get there, I promise. We're not there yet. So do your best to check and press the weight into the heels as much as you can. When you press your weight into the heels, we really start to engage the upper inner part of the leg. Definitely a spot we all want to tone, I know. 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to squeeze up, up. Hands are squeezing together, arms are lifted, shoulders are staying down, away from the ears, legs are starting to burn, or they're burning for a while. Press the weight as much as you can into those heels, draw the lower belly up, relax that tailbone down, we squeeze it in for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to the top, press it down, pulse, 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 pulse. So keeping those ears pressing away, imagine you got 2 little angels sitting on your shoulders, nice and easily pressing those shoulders down away from the ears, reaching those fingers wide for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Palms lift up, pulsing here. If at any point you just straighten through the legs here, because the legs are going to be burning, straighten through, make sure that we're not tipping that pelvis back, relaxing the tailbone down, lifting lower abs up, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull those palms back down, we lower and lift. You can come back into those low legs, that deep plie in second here. 4, breathe. 3, squeeze. 2, really resisting, feel the work in the back. Down and hold it here. We pulse, pulse, pulse. Keep breathing, deep inhale in. And exhale. Lift the lower abs up and draw the belly button in. Tiny, reaching those fingertips past. Check in with those knees, make sure they're pressing to the outer edges of those feet. Here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now reach those arms, palms up, reach high, press it wide. Reach high, press wide, high, press wide, high, press wide. 4 more here. So again, going back to bar basics. Here we are, 30-minute bar basic class, focusing on the key points of alignment, which really are reach it up and pulse those hands together, keeping the ears and shoulders apart. That alignment points, shoulders over hips. Relaxing the tailbone down, lifting the lower abdominals up, keep pulsing. Relaxing the ribs down in the front, lifting through the lower back, rolling those shoulders always down the back. Breathing and smiling. 3, 2, and 1. Press it wide, third set. Pulse, pulse, and pulse. You can straighten those legs at any time. And the legs might be burning more. If you do have weights and you do want to use them, of course you can. I'm not going to tell you that you can, but definitely check in with the 1, 2, maybe 3 pound weight here. A series is designed to get into the muscles deeply, exhaust those muscles, get them to a point where they're learning something new. Flip those palms up, pulse, 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 pulse. We don't have to do a lot of fancy things here to feel the burn. The body has a lot of chances here to learn to be long, lean, strong, and balanced. Palms down, we lower and lift, lower and lift. So you may find yourself getting a little bit higher in the legs here as they start to get tired. And if you feel like you're ready for it, feel free to push it down a little bit lower. Checking in with those key points of alignment, relaxing that tailbone down, lifting the lower abs up, and making sure those shoulders are pressing back over the hips. 3, 2, and 1. We pulse it down. This is your third set. This one's long and arduous, I know. Breathe. Lifting up through the torso. Forward that breath down the back. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flip those palms up. We reach. Press it wide. So palms stay up. Again, check in with that weight. We're pressing into our toes. Probably not so fun. We're pressing it down into the heels. Into the heels is really going to engage the inner upper thighs, unless of course we're popping our booty back. If we're doing that, we're going to feel some pressure and some unpleasant work in our lower back. So really drop that tailbone, lift the lower abs as much as you can, hold it up, and press, pulse, pulse, pulse. So basics of barre, number 1, very simple, is the points of alignment. There's lots of times we can go wonky when we're doing this extended length of work. The duration of reps we're doing is a lot. So we tend to want to do all these funky things and say, help, please get me out of here. So all this mind work of resetting to relax that tailbone down, lift the lower belly up, draw the belly in, keep the shoulders away from the ears. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Hands to the knees, give yourself a little stretch out. All of these points, there's never, well, there might be, but generally as we get through doing some more complicated exercises, some more fancy footwork, if you will, in our barre classes, these points never go away. We always have to continue to think about these things. So we're going to bring our feet together, walk those feet in, give those legs a little shake. Feel free to grab some water if you need to grab some water here. So we're going to do one of my most favorite exercises. And if you have a bar or a chair or preferably on a person, if you're working out with them, you don't want to knock them over, have them knock you over. So holding on to whatever you can hold on to here. I'm going to rotate side and front just so you guys can kind of see, but you stay stationary whichever way you've chosen. So we're going into our calf raise exercise. So very important here, alignments. We talked about at the very beginning, shoulders over hips, hips over heels. We're going to squeeze in towards the midline. So we're going to do our best to keep our ankle bones together, big toe mounts together, knees together, inner thighs together, everything squeezing in towards that midline. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and just try to start by lifting those heels and look down at your heels. Notice if your ankle bones have come apart, and then do your best. If they've separated, to try and squeeze back in towards each other. Here we go, 4, 3, tailbone down, lower abs up. We lift and lower, lift and lower. Arm can be out to the side or on the waist. So standing up nice and tall here. Visualize that beautiful straight line through the heels, up the center of the body, all the way through the torso, the neck, and out the top of the head. We lower, so we're resisting down to about 1 inch off the floor. We're not crashing down. Then we're going to lift up and hold, squeeze those ankles, squeeze those knees, squeeze those inner thighs together, and little pulse, 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 pulse. Here for 8, 7, relax the tailbone down, lift lower abs, actively breathing, drawing that belly in. 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. We lift. We lower and lift. Lower down and lift. So we want to make sure we're focusing here. That's not about lifting the heels as high as we can if the ankle bones are separating. We want to keep those ankle bones together. If that means we don't lift the ankles or the heels as high, it just means we don't lift those heels as high. Tailbone down, lower abs lifted, up hold, we pulse, resist down, resist down. So keeping in mind, we're still squeezing our ankles together, our knees together, our inner thighs together. Squeeze. Woo. Sometimes we lose our balance, and that's totally fine. 4, 3, 2, and 1. As we move into our third set, I want you guys to think a little about the hamstrings, because you're probably feeling the burn in the calves. So visualize that length from the heel all the way up to the Achilles, in through the hamstrings, where those hamstrings connect into the pelvis. So feeling that lift, booty is lifting, feeling that flatness in the front, visualizing where we want it to be. If we're having trouble here right now, think about that leg in the front. Lift it up, tall, relax the tailbone, lift the lower abs, pulse down, and squeeze. Squeezing into the midline. Squeeze, little pulse, quads are lifted, hamstrings are lifted into the pelvis, tailbone's relaxing down, lower abs are lifting up. You have this beautiful circle going on, chest is open, shoulders are rolling down the back. We're gonna do 8 more here, guys, you got this. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice, excellent. Great job, relax. Press that left foot back. We're gonna stretch nice into the belly of that calf. Be mindful here that as we're stretching, we're not popping that booty here. That we're still keeping those alignment points in mind. Tailbone down, lower abdominals lifted, belly squeezing in. Deep breath in, and exhale. Pressing back onto that left foot and bring it in a little bit. And then flex those right toes up towards the nose. And sitting back. Being careful here not to twist open in the hips. Pulling that right hip back, right toes are flexing in towards the nose. And then switching through. So go ahead and step that right foot back. Are you guys feeling good? The calves are feeling great. And it's always so warm going for the backs of the legs. So we can get into, and all these points that I'm telling you, just keep in mind as well, if they're not all integrating and landing in your body, can't stop with my left hand, but just like that, don't worry. You'll be back. This barre basics class is not going anywhere. It's here for you anytime you need it. Stepping onto that right foot, flexing those left toes up towards the nose. So you probably have noticed that I do tend to chat a lot, and that is for a reason. Because as we're going through this workout, there's so many things that you have to think about, you are thinking about, and trust that the sound of my voice is landing in your mind, in your body, in a way that is going to serve you. Hence those little fingers on your shoulders. Here, they're back. All right. So we're going to get into another little series here for the legs. So we're going to come into a ballet first position this time. So ballet first means heels together, as we call basic pizza slides, if that is helpful. And you can do this with your heels lifted and bringing it in if you want to. I will show that variation in a moment, but for now I'm going to just demonstrate on flat feet because you're probably feeling your legs pretty good right now. So we are going to do this exercise with our arms out for a little bit of extra arm work here as well. Press those shoulders down. We're going to come into our plie and stretch. Plie and lengthen through the legs. So plie is a motion. So we're going down and up. Think of it as nice and gummy. You're pressing down as much as you can. As soon as you hit the bottom, you're squeezing back up. So another way to look at basics here. Another point to remember in barre basics is the activation of the muscles. So alignment, very important. Shoulders over hips, hips over ankles. We want to make sure that we're standing straight because that takes undue pressure off of our joints, ping-ponging down through the body. Now, how do we actually activate the muscles around those joints once we're aligned? Head over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over heels. Do 2 more here. Get down and hold. Maybe pulsate here, so pulsing down, down. So find the depth in that plie a little bit more. So how are we activating the muscles here? Again, if you don't feel it like this today, that's okay. We're going to keep working on it. So rotating around through the back and up through the front. We have this constant rotation, circling, open. So we get that work in the back, so we can open in the front. Reaching those arms wide. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 second set here. Straighten up. Down plie. Lengthen to straighten plie. So if you want to take this a little step further, and if you have something beside you, you want to hold on to, of course you can. You can lift those heels up and have them pressing together here. So heels press together if the heels are lifted. We're not popping over. Heels press in. The more you can press those heels together, the more you're going to feel that work in the inner thighs. Shoulders will roll down the back. 2 more. You're going to hold it down and pulse, guys. Here we go. Pulse it up. 8, 7, 6. Pressing those heels together, or you're on your flat feet. 1 more set of 8. 8, 7, focusing on that circular motion of those legs. We're squeezing the back, lengthening the front. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten up. Plie. Straighten and lengthen. Plie. So as we straighten, you guys keep doing exactly what you're doing. I'm going to rotate side. As we're plieing, we want to make sure that we're not popping the chest forward and allowing the booty to drop back. Imagine there's a wall right behind you. We're trying to keep the back of the head and the back of the sacrum on that wall. So elbows are big again. Relax the tailbone down. Lift the lower abs up. We're lengthening the upper back. Relaxing the ribs down. Drawing that belly in. 4. Squeeze. 3. Those knees are pressing back, aligns with the work in the tops of those legs. Final set, guys, here. Hold, now pause. Use that breath, deep inhale, and exhale. 8, 7, really reaching those fingers. Those arms should be a little warm here as well. Maybe they're totally on fire, that's all right. 8, 7, 6. Squeeze that booty a little bit more and feel that lift. 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Give those legs a shake out, guys. Excellent work. Holding on to your supportive surface. We're going to grab onto our right foot and bring those knees together. Very important here to make sure those knees are together because you don't want to be torquing or putting any unnecessary pressure on that knee. So squeeze those knees together. If that means you're bending through that leg, bend through the leg. And keep those knees squeezed together. Now really allow that tailbone to drop. Lower abs are lifted so we get that nice gorgeous stretch in the front of that quad. And then switching sides. Grab the left. Bring those knees together. Tailbone relaxed. Lower abs are lifted. And when I say tailbone relaxed, you may be thinking, mine doesn't feel relaxed at all right now. So I say relax because we do want to get to the point where we can start to balance out the muscles in our body and how they're working. Because a lot of the time, especially work like this, you're going to find your quads are working more than everything else is. Go ahead and grab some water, guys. And we want to try to do here, and what barre is really about, that ballet foundation, is working the back body. So how our back body can really support us to propel forward without our front body always having to work to grip and pull forward. Yes, makes sense? Hopefully. Feel free to send any questions my way about that one for sure. And this class is going to be so good for helping you build that foundation and build the basics of that strength in your body. So we're going to do a fun one here. Hold on to your supportive surface. In this case for me it's a wall. We're going to go back into that same position as we started our calf raise exercise. So big toe mounts together, ankle bones together, knees together, inner thighs, squeezing everything together. Lower abs are lifted. Tailbone down. You guys are getting the hang of this by now. Just gonna lift those heels up, and then we're gonna sit down. So again, imagine that wall behind you. Head, sacrum against that wall. So we're not pitching, we're not scooping. We're nice and aligned. Just allow that sweet little head of yours to roll on top of the shoulders. We're gonna roll those shoulders down. We're gonna squeeze those knees together. So here we're lowering 1 inch and lift to squeeze. Lower 1 inch, lift to squeeze. So we are still engaged in the back body here. We're gonna get into the inner thighs here a little bit more. So as I mentioned earlier, those sit bones, you guys know those little bones that dig into the surface when you're sitting on a hard surface. Bring those sit bones, imagine squeezing them together. Shut the back door, if you will. Shoulders are relaxing down the back. Knees are really squeezing together. If you have a small fitness ball and you want to use the ball here, you can. But I find it's totally not necessary because we can do so much amazing work on our own. 3, 2, and 1. Then we're going to do little pulses down, down, down. Yes, nice. Roll those shoulders down the back. Stay lifted. Pelvic floor up to the belly button. Squeezing that belly button in towards the spine. Stay nice and long through the spine. Lifted. 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift those heels and lower. Give the legs a little shake. Oh, this one's pretty nasty, so we're going to do 2 more sets of this one. Squeeze those knees together, ankles together. Check that alignment. Head over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over heels. We rise it up. Sit nice and low. Squeeze up. 1 inch down, squeeze 1 inch up. So we are working here the balance of the front body and the back body, although you're going to most likely feel most of the work in your inner thighs and your quads. I want you to focus mostly on your inner thighs, squeezing those knees together, pulse it down, pulse, 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 pulse. So as we get tired, the tendency is always to stick that booty out and stick the chin up, kick the chest out. I want you to really relax that tailbone down, lift the lower abs up, and if you need to come up a little bit higher, if you've gone a little too low, that's okay, you can come out of it. And if you find yourself starting to shake, that's also okay. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift it up, lower down. Feels like a little shake. I know I don't normally give bonuses of rest between, but I know this one's pretty gnarly, so we're going with it. Squeeze back in together, lift it up, find that position, shoulders over hips. Down 1 inch, squeeze. Down 1 inch, squeeze. So the way I like to think of this one is as you lower down that 1 inch, squeeze the knees lower, sit bones to rise. Squeeze the knees, squeeze the sit bones. Squeeze the knees, squeeze the sit bones. Ultimately, you want to be squeezing in the front and in the back, both at the same time. The ankles are going to want to fall apart. Other than the knees, we're going to want to do this. So you're going to bring it all together in the center. going into our pulses. Squeeze, squeeze. So you can see that I'm starting to shake here too. It's good for everybody. Squeezing those knees together. 8, 7, tailbone down, lower abs up. Breathe. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Excellent work, you guys. Good, good, good. All right. Stepping those legs nice and wide. Opening up through those inner thighs. Press the shoulders forward. Head switch. All right, we're gonna get into our cool down here, guys, but before we do, if you're looking for some core work, a little more intense that we didn't get today, know that will be available in another class for you. Just all the work that we have done, just to kind of wrap your sweet little brain around it. All this work that we're doing, relaxing the tailbone and lifting the lower abs, using that exhale to draw the belly in towards the spine. This is such a beautiful foundational work to stabilize your core and to build a really strong foundation. So you're doing a lot of core work, even though it wasn't necessarily crunches maybe you were looking for. Those will be coming, all kinds of different ab series as well. But just know that if you can wrap your head around this core work, this alignment, that this really is going to set you up to have a beautifully strong core. So let's get into our cool down. All right, let's get into our cool down here. Start with a couple of arm stretches. So just being aware of how you are standing with your feet, reaching that right arm up, allow those fingers to fall between the shoulder blades. Just a little bit of resistance on your elbow here. So you don't want to be crunching that in. Just a little bit of work for a little bit of openness for the triceps here. And switching sides, left arm up. And allow those left fingers to tickle the back of the neck or let them fall between the shoulder blades. Just a little bit of resistance here. And breathe. Alright, now bringing that right arm across. So again, trying to keep that shoulder away from the ear. You kind of get, it feels good here as well. You can kind of bend, tip the head side to side, getting into the neck a little more. If you find a place that feels really good, feel free to indulge and even rolling those wrists up a little bit. And switching sides, left arm across. Shoulder away from the ears. Play around, stretching through that neck. And for me, my right side of my neck tends to always be tighter, so this side feels good for me to tilt over the opposite direction. Feel free to roll those wrists. Alright, we are doing a calf stretch, and we're going to do another little one here. So pressing into that back left foot, bending deeply into the front, you're pressing into the heel on that left side. And as your body begins to cool down, make sure you continue to breathe. Breathing is always important. The deeper we can breathe, switching sides. The more oxygen we can provide to our body, the happier it's going to be. Really pressing into that right heel, pressing that left knee forward, and keeping that lift in the lower abs just to protect the lower spine here. Alright, so staying with that left foot forward, we're going to bring those hands down. We're going to step that right foot back. You can stay here in this high lunge if this feels nice for you, or you can come and drop that knee, keeping toes tucked or coming over the tops of the toes. You can come up to the knee, or keeping the fingertips down, like your choices here. I'm going to come to the knee for the time being. Right hip, so the hip from the back leg is coming forward, left hip is coming back. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can reach those right fingertips up and reach it over to the side. You're really getting into the front of the hips here. And if you've gone a little too deep, you need to come out, feel free to come out. So a lot of the work that we did today, I know I talked a lot about the back body, using the back body, using the glutes, relaxing in the back, but a lot, especially if barre is new to you, or even if barre is not, the quads do tend to like to take over in a lot of this work. So it's building that connection between the mind and the body to help to balance that out so we can begin to work evenly, back body and front body. All right, switching through, we're going to press back, flex the left toes up towards the nose. And this might be a pretty intense hamstring stretch here, so if you aren't able to get that knee stretched, don't worry. We're working to straighten. Most important here that we're keeping left hip back, so kind of square off the hips and stay lengthened through the spine, and then we work to stretch through that leg if we can. All right, so we're going to press the hands inside of that left foot, scoop that left foot back, and then bring our right leg forward. So again, if you were in a high lunge and you want to come into your high lunge here for your stretch, do right. And you can come down, you can tuck or untuck the toes. hands up to the knee, or can stay down. If your hands have come up to your knee, make sure they're not pushing into the knee here and lifting those shoulders. Gotta keep those shoulders nice and relaxed. Still keeping that engagement in the front body. Stay nice and long. And if you did want to take that little extra side stretch here, feel free to take it. Again, you're probably feeling I'm definitely feeling after that workout in the front of your hips. So letting gravity just help us press forward here. And then hands can come find the mat. I'm going to lift the toes up towards the nose. And again, most important to keep that right hip pulled back here. Toes are lifted up towards the nose. Again, if that knee or leg is not straight, feel free to bend that knee as much as possible, wherever you can find the stretch in a way that feels best for you, and working to straighten that leg if that feels good. All right, dropping those toes. We're going to tuck the toes in the back, bring both hands to the inside, underneath where your chest is. We're just going to do a little flip. Ninja, yes. So bring those feet in as much as you really need to just kind of find this little squat. Goddess squat. So bringing hands together, heart center here. And if your heels aren't down, if your heels are very far up, and this feels maybe not so good for you, I encourage you to stick with it because I really disliked this pose when I first started. So if you have blocks or any props that you want to put under to make yourself more comfortable, feel free. But again, these postures are for us to just kind of find out where we are. So this is going to be the last one that we do here today. Second to last. So take a deep breath in. Close your eyes if it feels comfortable, and just exhale out the way the pelvis falls towards the floor. We're going to bring the hands to the mat. We're going to turn those toes in, heel toe either all the way together or hip distance apart, keeping the head nice and heavy. Going to bend those knees. You can hold here for a few more breaths or many more breaths if you like. If you want to hang out here, feel free. I'm going to bend those knees nice and deeply, keeping the head nice and heavy, crown of the head towards the floor, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. You're going to inhale and roll those shoulders up and down the back. And there you have it. Barre basics complete. Hope you guys enjoyed your workout today.